But when that shuttle lifts off, all of America will be reminded of the crucial role that teachers and education play in the life of our nation.
And the president came on the news and announced that they were going to send a teacher in space. And I shot straight up and said, wow.
And her comment was, "I'm going." And my mom and I, we all kind of looked at each other and, laughed a little. Hi, Barbara. And she said, "No, I'm going."
In her application, Morgan, a Phi Beta Kappa graduate of Stanford, stressed her interest in working with diverse populations and her method of active teaching. "In my classroom," she wrote, "we don't just open our books to page 45 and read. When we study our solar system, we visit Boise's planetarium, 100 miles away. We build our own planetarium." Flying on the shuttle, she said, would allow her to bring the world to isolated McCall. But, she wrote, "you can't really know about something unless you get a little of it on you. I want to get some stardust on me." One of the 10 finalists was a 37-year-old teacher from New Hampshire, Krista McAuliffe. Her philosophy of life was remarkably similar to that of Morgan's.
Well, I think my philosophy of living is to get as much out of life as possible.
In my view, those two were the clear front runners. In fact, I predicted Barbara Morgan would win and Krista McAuliffe would come in second.
Congratulations, and we have a little thing for you.
It would actually be the opposite, with Morgan being named the backup and Krista McAuliffe picked to be the first teacher in space.
It's not often that a teacher is at a loss for words.
I've had more excitement in the last 2 months than I've had in my entire life. We'll be training up until the time the flight goes up, which right now is scheduled for January 22nd.
Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
Bye, Krista, bye, crew!
Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
Challenger, go at throttle up. 1 minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles. Obviously a major malfunction.
So I get down.
Kids learn a lot from watching adults. It's not just what we say, but it's what we do. And kids were watching to see what do adults do in terrible, terrible situation. And what I felt was really important for kids to see is that we figure out what's wrong, we fix it, and we move on, and we keep the future open for our young people.
Morgan continued to teach in McCall and make special presentations for NASA. But 12 years would go by. Then a break.
Now, John Glenn's second time around. The 76-year-old senator will be orbiting the Earth again this fall.
In January 1998, NASA announced that Senator John Glenn would be a passenger on an upcoming shuttle flight. And on the same day that NASA announced Glenn's flight,
NASA also announced an Idaho school teacher will train for a future space shuttle mission. Barbara Morgan had been the backup to Krista McAuliffe when the Challenger blew up in 1986.
I'm Barbara Morgan. I'm joining this class as an educator mission specialist.
No longer a passenger on the shuttle, she trained as a full-fledged astronaut. It was training that often went long into the night. In 2002, Morgan was assigned to the crew of STS-118. The crew was given a launch date, August 2007. It would be 4 years since the Columbia disaster, 9 years since Morgan had become a full-fledged astronaut, and more than 21 years since the Challenger explosion. The crew's orbiter, the Shuttle Endeavour, the first time the craft had launched in nearly 5 years.
It's like a new space shuttle. It's been completely inspected from stem to stern for any defects in the wiring, any structural corrosion, and it's come out clean. It's like driving a new car off the showroom floor.
It's also a shuttle that was named by school children after the Challenger exploded.
Dave Williams is suiting up now in the White Room.
I think being an astronaut is all about persevering, and in many cases it's like achieving our dreams. I admire her for hanging in for that length of time. We are both thrilled to be in our 50s and being able to go out and do spacewalks and operate robotic arms. It's pretty exciting.
Source to fuel cell is complete.
On deck, Tracy Caldwell and Barbara Morgan wait in the White Room.
And to the launch director. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are clear to launch Endeavour.
6 go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Endeavour, expanding the International Space Station while creating a classroom in space.
Right now, looking at Barbara and Tracy.
And the floating is fabulous, looking out the window is fabulous, but truly, and I wanted them to make sure they understood this, that doing the work and that sense of accomplishment, that's the best part of it.
From the beginning of her odyssey, Morgan's motto has been, "The sky is no limit."
Our universe, as far as we know right now, is constantly expanding, and so that means truly that there are no limits to what we can do.
And since the beginning, she's had a singular goal.
When people look at astronauts on the space shuttle, oftentimes they want to become an astronaut. I want them to see me on that space shuttle and become a teacher.
Because teaching is a great profession, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's the most important job on this planet, maybe beyond.